This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. It doesn't matter how engrossed I am by a film. If I see a light in a dark room, I'm going to look at that light and I'm going to think to myself, that's why I'm kicking my list of theater etiquette off with the classics. Stay off your phone. The obvious way to go about this is to do just that. Stay off your phone, tap out for 2 hours and enjoy the film. But I know that's a little challenging for a lot of people, especially if you use your phone quite a bit. But I promise it's a very rewarding experience to let go. If you're worried about someone reaching out to you and you not being able to get back to them in time, just say you were in a movie. It's a completely reasonable excuse. Theaters tell you all the time not to go on your phone. And at this point, I feel like a lot of people just tune it out. So I want to say what to do if you do decide to go on your phone, because I do feel there's a way to do it without being overly distracting. 1, lower your fucking brightness. Truly, I wouldn't care most of the time if the screens weren't always blindingly bright. I've seen iMessage in light mode in the middle of the theater. I've seen Snapchat. What do you do yourself a favor, do your eyes a favor, and turn that shit down and delete that app. If you have to check your phone, check it to the side of your seat. In between the armrest and the leg is the ideal spot. Nobody can really see your screen from there. You can just peek at the screen from your pocket. You're golden. If you know that you're going into a movie and you have to be on your phone, that you are going to use it, no exceptions, sit in the back. Be a weirdo about it. Nobody sees you back there. Go crazy. Have fun. I'll be enjoying the thing I paid money to see. And lastly, obviously put it on silent mode. Make sure that you don't have any random alarms that may or may not go off during the film. I personally put mine on airplane mode most of the time. I used to shut the whole thing down, but that's a little overboard in my opinion. The point is, going on your phone during a movie is one thing. I've checked the time before. I've peeked. What really matters is that you be mindful of the other people around you. Trust me, it goes a long way. And I actually have a bonus rule. Turn off your Apple Watch. I'm guilty of this too. You know that if you own an Apple Watch, when you raise your arm to brush your hair or maybe even eat popcorn, the bright screen will light up and everyone will know who you are. It's embarrassing. It's an annoying feature that I can't be too annoyed about personally, because I know that most Apple users barely know what's going on. They shouldn't have bought that thing in the first place. So my advice is you could put it in do not disturb mode. You could turn it off altogether before entering the theater. You can turn the screen so that it's facing your wrist for the duration of the film, or just leave it at home. You don't need that thing. Number 2, no pictures or videos. I know this one sounds kind of silly, but I've noticed a trend in recent years of people posting videos and photos they took during film screenings on Twitter and TikTok, and it just baffles me why anyone would do this. Obviously, it's distracting to everybody else, but I also hate to break the news, nobody cares about it. Even if the point of your video is to capture how electric the theater was during a certain scene, it never translates as well to whoever's watching. Every time I see one of these videos on Twitter, it's so awkward and strange. Unless, of course, we're talking about those endgame reaction videos, but that's not even really a movie, right? It's like taking a picture of the moon. No one is getting anything out of that but you. And beyond all that, it's obviously just disrespectful to the filmmakers. They didn't want that to happen. Nobody wants to see that. Just save it for another time. 3, no talking. Listen to me. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. They want to hear what I have. Your one-liner is for Letterboxd, not the 1 p.m. crowd of the Garfield movie. Also, nobody around you wants to hear your thoughts on the movie in general. If you're having such a bad time with something that you need to let everyone else know that you're having a bad time with it at risk of feeling left out, that's something deeper within that you got to work through. At my screening of I Saw the TV Glow, there was a group behind me mocking the film from basically the halfway point up until the end. And it sucked. I get it. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing, whatever, but don't ruin the experience for everyone else. I am a reasonable guy. If there's barely anyone at the theater and you're sitting as far away as possible from another group and you whisper to your friend, it's not the end of the world. I've done that before. But if you can clearly see the back of someone's head directly in front of you, that person can hear everything you're saying. By the way. 4, read the room. This jumps off the last rule a bit. No, you shouldn't talk, but if it's a midnight screening of Shrek, do what you gotta do. Scream, hoot, holler, take your shirt off, I don't care. I feel like especially nowadays with these event screenings, people have gotten really comfortable with hooting and hollering during anything and everything. I was at a Punch Drunk Love screening not too long ago, and when Philip Seymour Hoffman shows up for the first time in the film, one guy by himself was like, whoa! He kept clapping, thinking the longer he clapped, eventually anyone would join in, but it was it just got lonelier. I've never been more embarrassed for someone else in my entire life. It was really uncomfortable. I don't even add this rule for the sake of anybody else. I'm doing this for you, brother. Read the room. If the vibe is right, let loose, but if it's not, maybe just sit back and enjoy the film in peace. But that said, there's nothing like not being able to hold back the occasional holy shit or obligatory applause after a really satisfying sequence. Some movies you just can't help but get a little vocal. They're just that good, and baby, that's just the power of cinema. 5, food. When it comes to food, this is less a rule and more of a tip. If you've ever gotten candy at the theater, say Twizzlers or cookie dough bites, you know that they come in wrappers that are shockingly difficult to open in the dark, which leads to a lot of crinkling, and yeah, it can be annoying for a lot of people if it goes on for longer than 5 seconds. My advice is if you get the candy, tear it open before the movie starts, preferably during the trailer. And if we are talking the little bite-sized candies, you can just pour them from the wrapper into the box that they came in. It's a lot easier to eat out of. It doesn't make as much noise. You could even pour them into the popcorn if you're one of those kind of freaks. Also, speaking from personal experience, don't bring a sub to the theater. It's the crinkliest paper on the planet. I made this mistake once and will never do it again. It also stinks up the room. To the one other person in the theater for Can You Ever Forgive Me, I'm still sorry. I ask you that same question. 6, oh my God, wear deodorant, please. This is basic advice for any situation. Forget movie theater etiquette, but wear some deodorant. You stink. Nobody wants to be near you. Carry a backup anywhere you go. It's important. And lastly, clean up after yourself. Ideally, don't make a mess in the first place. Eat your popcorn slowly. It's not going anywhere. You literally have 2 hours to eat it. But if you do make a mess, do your best to clean up after yourself. There's no real explanation I have here. It's just simply the right thing to do. It makes people's jobs a lot easier, and it makes the movie theater just a much more enjoyable place to be in. And that's my refresher on theater etiquette. Listen, I know most of this probably sounds like very basic stuff, but since people started going back to the theater after the pandemic, theater etiquette has gotten real sloppy. I get that it's easier to watch things at home, so if you're going to make the journey outside, you may as well make it feel like home as much as possible. It seems like theaters these days really want it to make it feel like your living room. And as cozy as they are, these are at the end of the day public spaces. There are people there. Being more mindful of the people around us makes the world a better place, in my opinion. And that's what I have to say. Go watch a movie and be a decent person about it, and before you head out. I want to thank this week's sponsor, Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. On Squarespace, you can start your own personalized website with their new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint, which allows you to choose from professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up, tailored for your brand or business and optimized for every device. You can easily launch that website and get discovered fast with their integrated, optimized SEO tools so that you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. I'm a personal fan of their visual design tools, which allow you to grow credibility and engage visitors with an unrivaled suite of visual design effects built in and ready to go on any Squarespace website. If you're looking to show your work in a really beautiful way, I cannot recommend their video collections feature enough, which allows you to upload video content, organize your video library, and showcase your content on beautiful video pages. You can go to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Karsten to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.